Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm absolutely delighted to introduce you to Lynda Moore, the Money Mentalist, and I'm so looking forward to chatting with her. So Lynda is going to talk to us about surviving Christmas with our finances intact, and I know there'll be a lot of you out there who will benefit greatly from this advice, myself included, and there's some really great questions that Lynda's going to cover with us. But first of all, Lynda, please tell us a little bit about yourself, and you founded the Money Mentalist, so please tell us about that as well.
Okay, so yes, I'm Lynda, the Money Mentalist. So fundamentally what I help you do is have an amazing relationship with money. And we tend to not think that we do have a relationship with money, but just like everything else in life, we do some really amazing things with money and we do some really dumb things with money. And I help you understand why and how you think and feel about money so you can make really good decisions and get to the point in life where you don't have to worry about money so much. So I use psychology and I use my background as an accountant to help you actually manage money as well, because we're not often taught how to manage money and how to have a very simple system that we're not, scrambling every day to look at what we're doing and monitoring every cent that we spend. So it's all about having systems and processes and understanding the why of what we do.
And it's true that we have a relationship, because I know I didn't grow up with any role model in terms of money management. So I've not had a clue my entire life. So I've done some great things, and as you said, and I've done some really dumb things that have left me destitute. And then I know other people who have the relationship like it must be a fear of money, because as soon as they get money, they find a reason to get rid of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we all have that, and it's all learned, and some things we learn really well, and just like everything, some things we don't learn quite so well. And then of course we meet this magical person and we have a relationship, and there's actually 4 of us in that relationship. There's the 2 people and their relationship with money, and navigating that in a relationship can be fun as well.
Great. I love that you're putting the psychology side to money management, because not everybody's heard of that, and I certainly hadn't before I met you. So I think it's an awesome concept. And I know people have been taking advantage of your services through 2020 on a needs-must basis. So I know you've already helped so many people. And you've been going how many years, Lynda?
So Money Mentalist has been around for over 10 years now. So we've been going for a little while. So yeah, we have helped some amazing people, and I love it. I learn so much from my clients, and I guess you're the same as well. Everyone's different, but there's the same threads sometimes go along underneath, and just how you apply those threads and weave it all together. That for me is the magic, and that's the magic for the clients, and that's why I love the personal service and working one-to-one, which, same with you, it's the magic that you get when you work with clients, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to be passionate about what we do as well. So
it is, yeah.
Okay. That's great, Lynda. Thank you. So we'll move on to the questions. So for many of us, the Christmas, not me, but for many of us, the Christmas decorations are already out, and we're already feeling the pressure to spend at this time of year. So with uncertainty in the workplace and perhaps depleted financial resources already, is spending a really good idea?
Well, everybody is different. So there's some people who have had an amazing 2020 where they do have that disposable income to have a fantastic Christmas. And maybe there's also that feeling it's been a really tough year. So let's reward ourselves and let's make this Christmas and the days afterwards, let's just not worry about it. We'll just go a little bit berserk. So there's that feeling going on because we have been a bit constricted in what we could do, and it's the relief of, we've actually made it to the end of the year. So you've got to look at where you are in that cycle. We've had an amazing year, we've got some excess income, let's have a great time and spend maybe a little bit more than we would. Or have you had that year where you've been on the wage subsidy, there is some uncertainty either in your role as an employee or in your business, where you're going, we'd still love to have an amazing Christmas, but we don't want to have debt at the end of it. So you've really got to look hard at your circumstances. And I think the best advice I give to people here is look at your own circumstances. Stop looking over the fence at everybody else's. Just because your neighbour's got a 6-foot Christmas tree and a 25-pound turkey doesn't mean that's what you have to do as well. You know, your little tiny Christmas tree, you know, that you've had for 15 years that you've pulled out of the cupboard isn't going to make Christmas less special for you than having the 10-foot Christmas tree. So really focus in on what's important for you, then decide how you're going to spend the money that you have. So it's very much bringing it all inward. What's important to you and your family, and then allocate some resources and some time to figure out, well, how are we going to still have this amazing Christmas and maybe not spend as much as we normally do. It's not necessarily all about the gifts for everybody. Sometimes, for me, the best part of Christmas, I love the champagne breakfast. You know, so for me, if I was going, okay, this year, what's really important to me, it's not about the gifts, it's about making sure that breakfast is amazing. So that's where I would focus my spending, and I would not spend so much on the gifts for everybody else, kind of thing, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean by figuring out what's important and then allocating resources around that.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who have had money put aside for their holidays which haven't happened, and they might be spending it on Christmas, or they might have already spent it on their bed. But then there are those that this year, probably in particular, the other category might be the people who put themselves in debt for the short win of being able to give great gifts, and they always regret it come the next year.
There's always that January shock of the credit card spend, because it's really interesting, but research has shown we only recognise $4 out of every 10 that we put on our credit card. So if you're out there, and of course this year, you know, you're busy doing all the grocery shopping for the food, and you're booking holidays and festivals or whatever it is you're going to do over that whole period. So the card's getting a lot of use, and that's why you get to the middle of January, or whenever your statement comes out, and you look at it on the internet and you go, good grief, did I really spend all that much money? And it's just that you haven't actually realised you've been in that spending frenzy. You actually haven't realised, and you haven't actually stopped to add it all up and see just exactly what has been spent. So it is a sort of a mental biasy that we have going on when we use credit cards. Mm-hmm. So if you're in that bucket where you do tend to go a bit overboard on credit cards, don't use them, take cash instead. And then you've got that, what we call the pain pleasure. Because I don't know about you, but if I've got a $50 note or a $20 note in my purse, it stays there for quite a long time, because I don't like handing over that $20. And yes, I get something, but I only get change, $10 back. So you get the pain and the pleasure at the same time. The credit cards, you don't get that. You get the fun and the pleasure of all the spending, and the pain comes later. And I don't know about you, but do you get your credit card statement mailed to you, or do you get it emailed where you click a link? You don't have to click the link, so you don't have to get the pain. And that's where we get into trouble with credit cards and overspending. You don't have to answer that question.
Because I did notice that when I stopped getting the paper statements, which is great for the environment, I had to retrain myself to start looking at my e-statements, and I don't do it very well. I haven't got into a good habit. So yes, we need to do that. You're absolutely right. Okay, so on to my next question, and this is going to be an interesting one for everybody. So how do we deal with the situation when, even in our families, some people have had to work with income reductions, and others are planning a big spending Christmas. Then you're coming together and you're mixing two different worlds. What do we do there?
Well, that's always an interesting one, isn't it? Because quite often, even before the COVID and the year that we've had, families would sort of say, oh, this year And this actually happened in our family, where it goes, okay, we're not going to buy for the adults. And we go, yes, okay, we're only going to buy presents for the children. And we all think we're on the same page with that. And then maybe an unexpected uncle turns up who hasn't had that conversation and has presents for everybody. And the rest of us are kind of going, but we didn't buy anything for him because we didn't think we were buying presents for the adults this year. So this sort of thing happens a lot within families. And it's really, how do you handle that situation of you think you've got an agreement and someone doesn't do what everyone else has agreed to. And in that situation, it's kind of like, what happens is quite often you'll throw the baby out with the bathwater and go, well, that just didn't work, we won't do that again. And you get back into that cycle of trying to keep up with everybody all the time. Well, the way to handle it is actually for someone to go, that was really lovely, but it didn't work because can we do it, try it again next year? Can we have the conversation and just be grateful that Uncle John turned up with all these amazing gifts without the guilt of we couldn't buy anything, or we didn't buy anything for Uncle John. So it's actually dealing with it when it happens, not stewing on it and pretending that, oh, you've left Uncle John's present at home when you actually haven't bought him, because that makes it even more awkward. So just be really gracious in that situation. If one person is able to spend more, for them, sometimes that's what they need to do because their love language is gift giving.
Right.
So for them, it's really important to be able to have that flexibility and to spend. And in that case, you just need to receive it really graciously and lovingly, and do what you can in return because it's really important to them. If it's that kind of, if you're going to a family household, maybe you need to have a conversation with your host and go, you know, we know it's been a really difficult year. We're not going to be able to contribute as much as we would like to in the gifts. What else can we do?
Right.
So you might have an amazing veggie garden. So you'll bring all the vegetables. Or, you know, you might be able to, instead of giving a gift, you can give time. Because if this person's done really well, they are probably super busy. Maybe their children need looking after. So what can you do that still fulfills that you're giving something, but it's not necessarily wrapped up in paper with bows? So I think it's about being a lot more open, maybe about the situation that we have been in. And I think, you know, the love languages thing is really cool because that will help you understand what will be a really meaningful thing that you could do for somebody. You know, is it a gift? Is it acts of service? Does somebody just need a hug? Does someone just need some time? And checking in at that level rather than the flyer that comes through the post and here's the latest gizmo phone, whatever it is, oh, I'll go and buy that. So be a lot more thoughtful about what you're going to do and be a bit more open in your conversations.
Great. I love the honesty component of that and the graciousness. I think this year in particular, we need grace and kindness as well to each other. And that honesty, I think, is so important. Some people find it difficult to be honest, but actually, as you say, it's dealing with something immediately diffuses awkwardness, as long as we're doing it in a nice, respectful manner. Yeah. And thank you for referencing the 5 love languages. So not everybody will be familiar with them, but they can Google 5 love languages because, as you say, there's a different language for everybody, male or female. So they can take a look at that and better understand your point.
Yes, yeah. So that's a good reference point. And remember, it also reflects to children as well, because not every child wants stuff either. Sometimes they just want more time with mum and dad or whatever. And I guess the other thing, you know, if you're coming into a family Christmas in a family environment, surely that's the time where you can have these conversations in a kind of a more open way. I mean, I know for some families it is really difficult because, you know, there's sibling stuff going on and things like that, but you should still be able to have that discussion around how do we, and this is my sort of theme for the Christmas season, how do we make the festive season amazing this year? And I think if we all focus in on that, how do we make it amazing? Then some of these questions and these discussions become a little bit easier because we all want to have an amazing Christmas. You know, we don't want someone sitting in the corner being grumpy because they didn't get a gift when they were expecting something, or they've been made to feel bad because they did buy when they weren't supposed to. You know, that's not what it's about. So, how do you make it amazing for you and those that you're choosing to spend the time with?
Absolutely. And putting my business hat on, I think this really applies to workplaces as well. So this is the time of year where a lot of businesses would typically do Secret Santa.
Yes.
I think we need to remember in the workplace that some people have done it really, really tough this year. So maybe there's I have no ideas on this, but maybe there's a different way to do Secret Santa, or perhaps not do it at all, or lower the price point of the gift. So workplaces need to consider it as well, don't they?
Yes, I think everyone needs to think about it, because, we don't want to just throw money at everything. And I teach my clients some of the behavioural economics concepts, and this one I think is the most important and the one I have the most fun with. And it's everything we do in life is to fulfil a need, but what our society has taught us is to fulfil those needs with money, where there are so many other ways you can meet those needs at either a lower cost or at no cost. And that's what we really want to think about, when we're getting together, and if we haven't seen family members for a while, and there's going to be a lot of us this year who aren't going to be able to see family members because they're overseas. So, I think that puts a different spin on the whole festive season when you might not be able to get together. So how do you make it more meaningful? And spending, $15 on a junk joke gift might not be appropriate this year, but spending $15 on giving someone something that's really going to light them up is going to give everyone so much more joy and make it so much more amazing. Because you can have amazing times without having to spend a lot of money.
Yes, agreed. And I'm going to really digress, but for everybody out there, it's a good point that you raised. There are going to be people who are not going to have the family around them that they typically would. So maybe we need to, cast our eye around our community and family community, work community, whatever it may be, and maybe offer somebody who might be in need of company at this time, offer them the opportunity to join us.
Yes, yeah. We so Simon, my partner, and I, what we've done a few times now is where people have not had family to go to, we would have an event on either Christmas Eve or Boxing Day, and we fondly call it the waifs and stays. And it's those friends of ours that we know don't have anywhere to go on Christmas Day, and we say, look, just bring a plate and bring a bottle or whatever, and we'll do some food, and we just do a little fun event for them, and it's really fun. It's really
That's
good.
lovely.
Yeah, I really look forward to doing those sorts of events. We've had all sorts of interesting people, because we have workaways and they don't tend to have family with them, and just friends who, can't for whatever reason be with their families. So, maybe that's what people might want to do this year, is have something like that to bring people together that they may not normally spend time with.
Fantastic. Okay, we better move along.
Right.
Our next question, which is our last question this session. So are there some things we can do right now that will help us survive the Christmas season with our finances intact?
Yes. I mean, we still have 8 weeks to go. So there is still time to do some planning. And that's really what this is all about. It's actually planning. And it's not just planning up to Christmas Day, it's realistically planning through to the end of January, because bear in mind it's the summer holidays, and if you've got children, you've got to get them set up for school as well. So you need to think out the next 2 or 3 months in terms of looking at what's coming in, what's our income situation looking like. Do we have a shutdown over the summer holidays where my income's going to come down, but we want to go and do some activities? So it's really sitting down, and I love doing this, sitting down with the family and planning that whole time frame. What do we want to do? Are we going camping? So it's not just about the day. So that's the first thing. Think longer term, further ahead than that. If you are a person who is really good at making things, then you can make gifts instead of buy them. But if you're actually hopeless at arts and crafts like me, don't even attempt it, because it will take up so much time and effort and you won't be happy with the outcome. I'm a baker, so I'm happy to cook things, but I'm not going to make Christmas decorations. I'm sorry, it's just so look at look at your time management as well, because so many things pop up on the online, isn't it? Save money at Christmas by making gifts. Well,
Yeah.
maybe, but think of the time involved to actually do that, and are you going to have a failure at the end of it, sort of thing. So think about practically what you're going to do. Have those conversations with the family where you're going, so that the cost of the day doesn't fall on one particular member. What can you all contribute? What can you do? Are you going to do secret Santas? Are you just buying for children? Are you putting a spending limit? How are you actually manage that day? And then come the middle of January, take 2 hours, block out 2 hours, sit down and add up what you actually spent. So pull out, look at your bank, what did I actually spend? And then divide that number by 50. Go online, open a bank account called Christmas 2021 and put your first deposit into that account. And set up an automatic payment, and in 50 weeks' time, you will have next year's season sorted.
Fantastic idea. Yes. Because you won't notice that little bit of money going. You might the first week or first payday, but then after that, okay. Yeah. And then next year we can do Christmas easy.
Yeah. Because you've at least got, and if things have improved and you're back on top, you've got a good base there to start with. So so start thinking about and tucking some money. But the key thing here is, don't just put it into the 25 account. Give it a really cool name that resonates with you.
Right.
Well, it might be summer camping. For you, it might be more about the camping's more important than the Christmas day. But whatever it is, that every time you see that account, you're going to get excited about the money in there, and you're not going to draw it out for the car repair, because that money is for that specific purpose. And that's what will keep it in that account.
Right. Great advice. I'm going to throw in another question, which you're not expecting. But, those people who have children at the younger end, I would imagine it's important to prepare them, engage them for what may be a different Christmas. Do you have any thoughts around how they can communicate with their children?
Yes, it's really interesting how we feel that we need to protect children from money conversations. But we all know, those of us who are parents, we know children are very perceptive to what's going on. They can pick up on the atmosphere. They can pick up on the whispered conversations between mum and dad. And the worst thing that you can do is have a child pick up on part of the conversation and interpret it completely wrong. So if this is the situation, and obviously you need to be age appropriate for your children. You're not going to talk to a 5-year-old about your finances or show them bank accounts and things like that. But what you do need to do is, in the way that you would normally talk to your children about anything else, just say, I don't know, we're going to have a little bit of a quieter Christmas, or just whatever it is that's appropriate for you, to let them know that it's actually not them. Because they also tend to look at things and they'll take it on board themselves and think that they've done something wrong, and that's why Santa's not coming, or he's not going to bring as many presents as usual. So I think, you do need to sort of have some kind of engagement with your children in a way that they would actually understand it. And if you're going to go Christmas shopping with your children, give them some cash. Don't you pay for it, but whatever is kind of your allocation, because kids, they love the Christmas shopping, don't they? And again, you have children who are little spenders and little hoarders, the same as with the adults. So take cash with them and say, here's, you're going to go shopping, here's some cash. And then before they go up to the till, go the pain pleasure thing, as we do for adults. If you buy this, this is what you're going to have left over. And make it a little fun learning exercise for them as well, to understand the value of money.
Yes. I know when my two old children were younger, we would discuss who they would want to give presents to, and then we would allocate one lump sum, and then the two of them would go out together, and they might spend more money on one person because the gift they really wanted was more expensive, and less on another person, but they were able to make that decision themselves. And they loved it. They'd be gone for a couple of hours exploring what they could fit into their allocated sum.
Yes, Yeah, and I think you've hit on a really good point there, is it's not about having $20 to spend on each person's gift. It's here's the pool of money and these are the gifts I want to buy. And, and you will put a lot more thought into it because you're looking for something to match that's really important to a person, not going, oh, it's $25, so I can't have it. Or I can't buy it for that person. So it's about the pool of resources that you've got. Yeah. And also, let's face it, grown-ups don't care if kids make really wonky Christmas decorations, so they can do the stuff.
That's right, exactly. And be upfront, as you say, with your children, because yeah, absolutely, you don't want them getting the wrong end of the stick. So them thinking when they do get a gift, oh, but I heard mum and dad and I'm pretty sure they're broke and yet they're spending their money on me, or anything that guilt. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Lynda, there's so much more that I'm sure you could share with us. Do you have it? And I will put your details up at the end of our chat so people know how to find you, but we'll cover that in a second. But are there any final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with our audience?
Look, I think it's all about, just as I've said, making it amazing for you and your family and those that you're going to spend the time with. And remember that you don't have to spend a lot of money to achieve that. So look at what's going to do for you. Don't look at the flyers, don't look at the marketing, don't look at what everyone else is saying you should do. Just this time, do what's actually right for you. So it's all about you.
Absolutely, yes. Don't look at the marketing material that comes in your letterbox. Don't do that. Okay, so just remind us, that there will be people out there who will want to make immediate contact with you. I'm sure, Lynda, your clients absolutely love you. You don't guilt trip people. You actually give them tangible tools to help them and a new way of thinking in many instances. So how will somebody find you?
Well, they could find the website, which is moneymentalist.com, or you can just email me, which is Lynda with a Y at moneymentalist.com. So feel free to reach out in whatever way. I'm happy to have a conversation and talk to people. I love talking, you might have noticed. I'm more than happy to talk to someone and help them navigate their way through the next few months or whatever help they need. I'm here.
That's fantastic. And audience, I'll put that at the end of the chat so that you've got that in case you missed it. Remember, it's .com. And Lynda, I just want to really thank you for your time and sharing some great tips with our audience today. So thank you, everybody. I hope you got something out of that. Bye for now.
See you later. Bye.